Why, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I am your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, as always. And today, my friends, we are going to cover some tricks and tips to making your house look awesome. All right, in the customization of the decoration system in the game on stuff. I'm going to do this at one of my personal house below our Kinship house here on CrickHollow. If you ever want to join us, you know, you're welcome to. As long as you're a subscriber and you're on CrickHollow, you can play with us. You're welcome to join the Kinship. Little side note there. We live right up there, up the road, up around that hill. But today we're going to be here at my house, home of Zollin. I'm doing this at one of the free-to-play or regular homesteads. There are premium homesteads. I have a whole video on housing. If you want to see that too, it's very popular on the channel. Thank you so much, guys, for watching it. But there's premium housing and regular housing. I like regular housing. I'd love to see LOTRO make some more areas that are regular housing, even though the premium housing areas are really cool and really nice, and I understand that that is more for the hardcore people, so they want the supporters. But you're asking me for this video today is, wow, how do I make it even more epic, right? This was a request by one of my subscribers who's very nice, thank you, Nick, on this idea, so I wanted to go into more depth on it, okay? So there's a couple little tricks that I want to show you today. We may have to hop over to my other house to show you some more stuff, but basically, when it comes to the cosmetic system, when you're decorating, obviously you should all know that the buttons up there by the thing, or if you're in your housing, if you're in your character, you can also click the house button down here in the bottom left, your character screen, and that'll bring up this as well. So there's a couple ways, and again, this one I brought up here is actually, there's one you can bring up here at the bottom right there, maintenance. Excuse me, permissions. Oh, no, those are inside. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can get to it. There's two different tabs, these two housing tabs, excuse me. I haven't opened my housing tab in a few months. So these are all the different things, but what we want to talk about today is not maintenance, not maintaining. I have a whole video on that. We're going to talk about decorating, okay? That's what this thing is about. I want to start covering more cosmetic and decoration things on this channel because I've had a lot of requests for it, and it is kind of a fun part of the game, right? So basically, you can click this little decoration button, all right? So we're not going to worry about the maintenance tab. And this will come up, okay? So you'll have all these glowing things all over your yard or in your house, and you can right-click them, and you can add different decoration items, okay? So now, what are a few tricks to the decoration system that they are built into the game? I have not decorated my house yet, so this is a great time to cover this. This music is going to get a little too loud, so I'm just going to turn that on in the background like that. So the first things first is you need to know different sizings of decorations. It's important. Usually you're going to have to keep your decorations just in your inventory and it's going to be crazy. But for me, I have a decorations carry-all, all right, which is really nice. And if you ever see them on sale in the store or you get them with an expansion, you may want to get them. Okay. So, we have, these here on the left. I will leave them there. I've got all these different things I can use. Okay. One of them came with something I got, but basically hover these. You can even search through and stuff, and, you know, have it on auto gather, but you need to hover them and they will actually tell you where they can go. So decoration category, it says yard, mobile yard, okay, for this particular one. Or for a better example, let's use where I need a piece of furniture here. A piece of furniture, please. It's all my furniture at my actual house. Here we go. Let's use this one. All right. So this is furniture, yard, mobile yard. That one is also for the yard. Here we go. Here's a book, okay? So book, furniture. Sometimes different size things can fit anywhere, okay? So what do I mean by that? Let me just right click one of these boxes and watch what happens when I move this book into my inventory. See how it has the little lines going around it? It means I can set it there, right? This is really simple level, but we'll get past this real quick. So then you can right click it, whatever you clicked on in decorations here. Again, this is furniture. I could even go to this rug and right click this rug. And this one I'm not allowed to put it in. You can find out. They'll be glowing, right? Rug spot is usually just for a floor location, okay? But then I'm going to right click. I'm going to put that book on the ground there. And look, as you can see, there's now a book. Now, again, if I didn't want to touch anything and just leave the book on the ground, I could turn off decorating up there on the radar, right? And there you go. We have a little tiny book on the ground. But who wants to just leave the book in the ground, right? So now let's talk about how do we move it around. What are a couple tricks to make it a little bit more epic, okay? So it doesn't matter where you put it because you can go pretty far with this. So now that we can reopen decoration, right click on it. Now we got all these controls on this little panel that popped up, okay? If I want to, you can go sideways, up. It tells you which one, the y-axis, the x-axis. You can click these to do small adjustments. As you can see, the book is slowly moving. We can go up and down. So I jumped at the top. So we can go way up. We can even float in the air if we wanted to, right? You can do whatever you want. Now, that's not really super realistic. So what if I wanted to bring the book? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to put the book on my fireplace, okay? So basically, we're going to... Oh, excuse me, I clicked the wrong one. There we go. Sometimes you will have to readjust it if you stop doing it mid-thing. So I can bring it pretty darn far. Now, see, I pretty much can bring it across the house, okay? So we're pretty much right above the fireplace now, right? I can now lower it, right, by using these little thing up and down. But I need to do a smaller adjustment. So what's the trick to making smaller adjustments? It's clicking the arrows, okay? So I can just tap it until, okay, now it's phasing in. I don't want to phase it in. It looks fake, right? Oh, I just flew it across the house again. Where are you? There you are. Okay, we want to put it in the ground. All right, so that's too far. So we want it right there. And now I want to slightly rotate it. So I'm gonna use the top one to rotate it. You can hold down the button, by the way. You can hold down the arrow to rotate it a little faster than clicking it 30 times because it's very minute changes, which I'm glad. I'm glad it's minute changes because otherwise it would make it really hard to design your house, right? So now it's in a more nicer position that I'd want to leave it, but it's a little bit phased into the thing. So I'm going to slightly use this other direction to bring it out onto the actual counter there. And as you can see now, it kind of looks like we left the book right in front of our fireplace, right? So I'm gonna say save, and it'll automatically close it, and there we go. So now I have a book just sitting on my fireplace. Now, again, as you can see, if we go over here and click this, you can't put anything else there. You're using it for the book, but it will show you a little line to where it is, right? You're like, there's the item you're looking for. You can also just pull it out and drop it back in your inventory and it would disappear, right? It would reset this furniture slot. So that's a good little trick. Now that you kind of know that, all right, I'm gonna bring this back into my inventory here. When it lets me. No. Excuse me. You have to bring it into your regular inventory and then you can put it in there. It's a little bit of a weird thing with the carry-alls. I kind of wish they could be directly dragged in, but I'm assuming they're a little afraid something will glitch out. All right, so now that we've talked about that a little bit, real basics, I want to now go over to my premium house, which has a lot more of my furniture, because this video is all about the furniture. And I've already furnished that. Furnished, not furnace. We're not burning the stuff. We furnished it. So let me show you a few things I did in my premium house here, okay? So I still have my thing on to move stuff around. That's why you see the big squares, right? But again, it's all about the illusion of putting it in locations that makes it feel realistic, right? And to enjoy yourself and be creative. That's the point. So yeah, sure, you could put, if you want to make your house look like there's a magic spell going on and everything is being pulled to the middle of your house, I mean, heck, you could totally just go like this and, you know, be crazy and move it out to the middle of your house and, you know, spin it around or whatever and put a bunch of items in the middle of your freaking, you know, house just floating there. Like, you could do that. Of course, you could always click, usually it doesn't save it automatically. Apparently it did for that one. It's like, it's gonna make me put it back. But sure, you could do that, but it's gonna, you know, that's whatever you want to do. But here, let's go to the next trick here I'm talking about, okay? So I'll fix that later. As you can see here, I put a bookshelf here. So this is a piece of furniture. This wall decoration here has these books on it, all right? And they're automatically on there. So I could actually remove it, but it is actually against the wall here. I moved it out to the middle of the room and I put some books on it. The reason I did that was because there's a limit to how far you can put books. So if I click on these, you can see that one's in that location, that one's from that location, that one's from that. But again, the point is once I turn off the moving stuff, it looks really nice. Has all the little books, like I just set them there on the counter, right? I think that's really cool. I love these books. By the way, they do take up a lot of room, the books, because you could be putting other pieces of furniture in their place because they're furniture slots technically. But these are the deed books that when you click on them, they actually tell you a story, which is really, really cool. We could do a video sometime of listening to all the books if you want. It's pretty cool. Again, I don't see my dragon book here. I don't know where I put that one. It might be on another shelf here. All right, so I have some food here, have a dog thing there. And again, this isn't completely furnished. A lot of these walls don't have anything on them. And yes, if you put something on the wall, you could technically move it. You could hang it on the side of your thing if you wanted to, right? So for example, I'll show you right now. Let's get back out our little carry-alls here for decorations. And let's just find a picture frame. All right, let's see. I have a picture right here. There we go. Adorn. So weathertop. So let me take that out, put in my inventory. See, it works because I'm clicked on a wall. Again, hover the item. It'll say category wall. Okay, so it works on a wall. So I'm going to right click. Boom, there's the gorgeous picture. But what if I wanted to just block the door or something crazy? But that's not what you want to do, right? So again, you could phase it into the wall, of course, but I can move it and I could literally do it. And if you notice, it's quite a fat picture frame, actually. All right, so let's bring it down. I mean, I can even do it. I could even try to do it where it's sitting on the ground, right? Totally. Like, you do whatever you want, you know? So if you really want to be able to look at it really closely, and then if you rotate it, let's pretend like I have it sitting against my bookshelf, right? You get like, pretend like you're moving. I don't know if you're really role-playing that hard. I like role-playing, but I don't know if I want to do that much work. All right, so if you look, make sure it's not phasing into the wall. See, I'm rotating it slightly. Rotate, rotate. Okay, and there we go. If I save it and I turn off the decorating mode, look at that. It looks like I have it just sitting on the ground, a picture, sitting against my thing. Again, I could probably move it a little closer if I wanted to, right? Make sure it's touching. But the illusion of it just sitting there that's pretty good, right? Okay. You guys following along? These are some little tricks you can do. Again, it's all about knowing how to click the decoration system, know that you can use all these to move around, and then the small movements of either just clicking to just slightly move the object, or holding it down and it'll move it a little faster, right? Or you can grab it and try to do it yourself with your own finger. It's a lot faster though, and because there's so much movement in this. This game used to never have this movement system. It used to be just, you stick it on the wall, you stick it there, and that's all you could do, right? Just stick automatically in one spot. So I think this is really cool that you can do this in this game. It gives a lot of creativity into how you make your house look, and every house is kind of unique. Granted, a lot of things are similar that you can find, but there are literally hundreds of decorations and things you can either, taxidermy, right? Like this dog right here, this evil dog. It's not a nice dog. Can I just point this out? This is like a killer Bargus. These things will eat you alive, okay? They're not nice. These are not good dogs. There are wonderful dogs in LOTRO too. But again, the taxidermy stuff is very cool. When you catch a fish in LOTRO, if it's a good one, it'll say this could be taxidermied. I'll have a whole nother video on the taxidermy where you can find it, that kind of stuff. It's in Brie, just side note for you. But I'll have another video you can check out for that. But it's very, very cool, the whole system. You can get all this cool stuff on the raids or locations, and there's so many things. They even have these cool, like these old maps of Moria, which is really cool. And now again, these are a little high, right? So especially for me as a dwarf when I'm inside my character's head. So I could right click it and I could just lower it, right? I could just bring it down to dwarf level, something like, I don't know, right there. And again, it still looks just fine, right? If you're not looking at this one. In fact, it looks a little better now that that rim, right, is above it. And now you can get up close and give a nice look at that old map, right? Some of these maps, it's cool. These cosmetic maps for in-game are the originals that no longer look like this. These ones do, these three, but there's a couple I've seen that, like the old Eriador one, they've updated the actual Eriador map, so they kept the old one in game, which I think is kind of cool. So there's lots of really cool things you can do in this game with stuff. And then of course, cosmetically, guys, I have to remind you of this. In every house, and a lot of houses will have multiple rooms. So the Kinship house, the regular Kinship house, I know has 2 rooms. They have the back setup and the whole main front. And there is a music box here, and the music you're hearing in the background right now is the ambient music of the Shire, okay? It's just called Ambient Hills of the Shire theme. That's what it's called right there when I hover it. You can get these music boxes at a lot of the sellers. Sometimes you have to earn them. This one, I believe, is sold at the housing Hobbit person in the Hobbit homestead in Mickle Delving, I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to that right this second, but I think that's where I got it originally. You can do wall surfaces. So if you notice, this room has a beautiful rock texture that looks very dwarven. That's what that is. I think I got that from the Dwarven homestead, where you go in this room and it looks quite different, okay? And this room actually does have its very own painting, but if you notice, it doesn't have the musical instrument. So a lot of times the music theme in the whole house is the same, and it's usually just by the front door. And then the different rooms will have different floorings. So you have different wall paints, so you can change the colors, wall colors. You have different surfaces you can change, so you can actually pick different surfaces and then change the colors, okay? Same thing with the floor. flooring surfaces and flooring colors. You need to make sure that the item you have is a floor or wall. What it'll say, category, wall surface, or category wall color, right? It'll tell you where it's supposed to be used for, right? So don't freak out too much of that. Again, just hover the items. You can see right there. If you look at this item, it says bind to account on acquire. Okay, so once someone places it, okay, that's fine. Category, decoration category, furniture, yard, mobile yard. So if I put this right here, it can go in several things. So I could do it as a furniture piece, so one of these white ones. So let's say I just right click on this and put it there. And look at that, I've got a nice little pot with some pretty flowers, right? You can, again, if you're like someone who's like, you weren't using that middle space and you're like, well, I don't really want it in the middle of my room. Again, you know the tricks I've already showed you, right? You can just move it to wherever you want. If you want to put it right there, and then you're like, haha, now my pretty pot is right here, right? So on and so forth. And as you saw a second ago, it did say it was also for yards, right? So I could go over, I actually think I replaced my breakfast table that was there. Remember in the corner? This is my breakfast table. So I didn't really want to leave it right in the center of the room, so that's why I had my breakfast table over here, kind of nicely in the corner. No, just stay there. Stay. Anyway, there you go. Got my little breakfast table. Again, I want to try to make my house a little bit nicer. Maybe I'll make a video or a stream. We'll decorate together, right? You can decorate your houses and I'll do mine. I don't know. Who knows? But this is just a quick guide video on this subject. Couple tricks for you guys. Again, there's a yard. I already have the little old man Willow. I don't actually know where he is. I must have moved him. It usually gives you the arrow to show the line. Maybe they don't do that outside as much. Or is he just there and I don't see him? Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Well, that helps. So anyway, I could put the vase outside if I wanted to, right? Ta-da! There's a vase put outside. Okay. Here's my guard watchdog. These are kind of cool. You can put them around when you get them, and then if you right-click on them, they will stay there. But what will happen is around your land, you have a little dog follow you, a little property guard dog. Or a person, if it's a property guard that's like a hobbit or an elf or whatever your property guard is. Another cool thing that a lot of people don't know is there's some items that let you do things. Like, for example, this Gondorian supplier horn. So if I right-click on this, I can click this. And what happens is it actually brings me a supplier, a person I can talk to.
Skies.
And she will let me buy things from her, a lot of basic crafting stuff that I might need while I'm crafting. I can sell stuff to her. I can repair things, all that kind of fun stuff. And also there are like crafting things you can earn or buy. Sometimes they'll come with an expansion. Sometimes you can you just buy them in the LOTRO store if you see them on sale and you want one for your house. We have all of them in our Kinship house. So you're welcome to come to the Kinship house with your little teleport if you join us and just craft using these tables, right? It's kind of fun. I have some here too. I think we have all these at our Kinship house already. I'll double check. But I can right click it and I can actually get to my crafting tab and do crafting. We're about to have I'm going to date the video on that. Let's not say that right now. Don't worry. If anything gets updated in the game, I'll have new updated videos sooner or later. All right, well, there we go, my friends. Thanks for listening. Hopefully that wasn't too long. A couple little tricks then. Remember, clicking it really slow. You can put it on top and make the illusion you're putting things on top of other things, like books on shelves, and moving maybe, bookshelves to each other, back on side, like back to back, or whatever you want to do to redo your room so you're not just doing the generic on the walls, and on the floor. You can make it like a little area, a little sitting area or something. There's all sorts of cool little tricks you can do like that. There's not really much more I can show you on that. In the future, we might make more videos on actually different furniture you can find and get. I would need to go through all of my furniture stuff on all my houses, and I could show you my lists and the different locations you can get more in the future. If you'd like that, if you'd like one where it's like, here's all the locations you can buy cosmetic furniture, I will make a video, but that's going to take a lot of more background work. But I would be happy to do it for you if you guys, a couple of you are like, yeah, we'd watch it. Sweet. And like the video, my friends. That really encourages me, and it helps with the algorithms, I'm telling you. And leaving a comment. Thank you, my friends. I will see you on the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. Baruch Kazad. Kuzad, I menu. Thank you to my Patreons. Subscribe button is there, my friends. And I will see you on the next episodes. And I'll see you later in Middle Earth.